Hi, you're listening to Dusk to Dawn, reading horror and weird fiction. We're your hosts, Amber and Dan.
Follow us on Instagram at Dusk to Dawn Podcast. Please rate our show wherever you're listening, and let's get started. What's up, y'all? Happy New Year. We got a good one for you to start off 2026. What are we doing?
We read a book. We read a book.
I put in the work.
I'm very proud of us that we read this book.
I think I
finished it this morning.
I read like 4 or 5 hours yesterday, which I don't usually do.
It's a struggle, you guys. The book was amazing.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm really glad that we did it. But also our friend from out of town is visiting us, which he does at the end of the year every year. And we're like, John, just hold on. I have a lot of reading to do.
Yeah. Here we mistakenly thought, oh, we're going to be on holiday for the Christmas season and New Year's. We'll have all this time to do all this stuff. And we did none of it.
Again, I'm really glad that we did this because it interrupted not using our brains and just being on holiday, which is nice. So it's like we read a book, but I think maybe next year we might do one Christmas themed horror book and then an end of year recap. I feel like
we'll see.
We'll see. It was a lot.
Something short. It doesn't have to be.
Oh yeah, or it
doesn't have to be a 450 or 20 whatever page book.
Yeah, we packed it in.
Yeah,
but I'm excited
after a 400. Like Krampus was also 400 pages, right?
So we put 2 long ones in December, thinking that time off meant anything.
No, if anything, we have less time.
Yeah,
because we have no structure.
All right, so let's go into it. We got
Fever House.
Yes,
that was your original question.
Yep,
that's what we read. Fever House. By Keith Rosson.
By Keith Rosson, a Portland local, which is cool because we're also from Portland, so it's exciting.
We live in Portland.
I don't know. In the
Portland. Portland.
Sorry, the Portland metropolitan area, or do you mean that we're not from Portland?
I specifically mean like I'm from California. I live in Portland.
There's probably a name for
I love Portland,
us.
But I'm not from Portland.
Anyway, we've been in Portland for 14 years. Yeah, is that right? 12 years.
We moved here in 2014.
Okay, 12 years now.
In like August or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, so Keith Rosson is a local, and here's what's really cool is he's a punk rocker, and that's really all you need to know. Or at least he has significant time listening to punk rock. He started out as an illustrator and graphic designer in Portland who got started in the music world, and he made posters and album art for bands like Green Day and Goo Goo Dolls and Against Me.
I love Against Me.
Yeah, Against Me is great. I did a quick search of like, what are the album covers you did? And then it was just a bunch of interviews about like his books and that he does this. So I wish I could tell you which albums, but I don't know. He did like album art and stuff. So that's really cool. And he listened to punk rock, and that's great because punk rock is the greatest genre you can listen to.
But you said he listened to punk rock. So does he listen to metal now? Because metal's better.
No, metal's not better.
But he listens to not punk anymore.
I don't know.
Based on your grammar.
Based on my grammar? Wait, whoa.
You said he listened to punk rock.
Okay, maybe continues to listen. I don't know if everyone is like me and is still like rabidly interested in something they were interested in 20 years ago. So I don't want to. Anyway, dude listened to punk rock. Hopefully still listens to punk rock. And then was like, let's write some books. His first book came out in 2017, a supernatural thriller called Mercy of the Tide. He's also released Smoke City, Road 7, Fever House, which we're talking about today, and its sequel, The Devil by Name, which we're talking about next time because we're doing a narrative overarching thing. And also,
it's called The Month of Rosson.
The Month of Rosson.
We've named it that.
Yeah, that sounds better than The Thing, which we watched last night. It was really cool.
Yeah, that's actually funny. The Kurt Russell film, The Thing.
2 more pieces of information. He also got the Shirley Jackson Award for his short story collection, Folk Songs for Trauma Surgeons. Which, okay, Folk Songs for Trauma Surgeons.
It sounds like something from the Civil War.
Yes. It sounds to me like somebody who listened to punk and then was like, I'm going to do an acoustic album, but I'm a writer, so it's going to be an acoustic.
See, I think like folk as in like country Western, right? Which,
yeah.
And then trauma surgeon, apparently my mind goes directly to the Civil War because it was pretty awful.
Yeah, I bet it was.
They need songs to feel better. Or it could be World War I, but I don't feel the folk part. fits that.
Yeah, I don't think folkiness in World War One. Also, an interesting fact is Rosson is legally blind, and that's interesting along with his career as an illustrator and graphic designer. I looked a little bit into some interviews, and one of the things he had said that is probably really cool about his style is that usually his illustrations are like a little bit off because he can only see a few inches of the page at a time, with clarity. And so it's almost like as he's doing an illustration, I imagine it's kind of like, here's this puzzle
hyper-focused.
piece, and then here's this puzzle piece.
Oh, like that's cool.
Which probably ended up being really cool. I don't know if he did the cover of Fever House, which is a really cool cover, and I think, doing posters and stuff, he might have done it. It might probably says it in the book. No, he didn't. Okay.
Cover design is Ella Latham, and the cover image is Getty Images. So they took a Getty image and then messed around with it.
It's cool though. It looks like the style of an album cover.
I don't know. That would be pretty pretentious
to do your own cover.
I don't know.
So you're saying Brahm is pretentious? Boom. I mean, that's fine. But I assume,
but also.
But I
don't know. Like,
hold on a second.
I feel like their styles are very different. Like, as a punk, that would be pretentious.
Okay. I see that. My point of view is that would be cool because that's just extra DIY. That's just like, I can do art, so
but also
I'm going to make the cover.
Support your community, support your friends. I mean, this is coming from someone who hangs my own art on the walls, so I'm not one to talk.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just interesting.
I don't know. It's just that popped in my head.
All right, so Fever House. Rosson is from Portland, and Fever House takes place in Portland, and it's really cool. Some other places too. They go to Venice Beach, Chicago. They're in New Orleans for a second, but it primarily takes place in Portland. Not like some books that will have the vague Tri-City, right? I feel like the Tri-City is a way of saying like vaguely the Pacific Northwest. Or am I wrong about that?
Tri-Cities are inland. Tri-City is like Walla Walla area.
Okay. I don't know anything.
I mean, people definitely vaguely use regions.
Pacific Northwest, yeah.
But like I was able to pull up like the zone, Catherine zone. I figured it out on the map.
Who's a character in the book? We'll get to that.
Yeah. But there is another book that I actually worked on when I was in my program called Thorn City, and that takes place in Portland. And the author did the same kind of thing. We're like naming streets and stuff, but what she did differently, she named real places. I think the like sushi bar and all the bars and stuff that are mentioned in this aren't real places.
Oh, that's possible. The street names are real and stuff.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Lovejoy, Cooch Street, and it's actually Cooch, not Couch, because we do it Portland. Yeah. Love our Cooch Street. Couldn't help myself. Sorry, moving on. Let's go.
Okay, this is one of my books where the summary comes to me in one sentence, and that's the best. A dismembered hand makes people go super crazy, and it's really bad if someone dies around it.
Guys.
Yeah?
It's really bad.
It's really bad.
It's really bad.
Can I tell you something cool?
No.
Another cool thing? I've just got tons of cool things.
Man, you're just like, boom, boom, boom.
It's true. I'm on it. Well, I just finished reading this book yesterday.
I finished it today.
Yeah, you're even more recent than me. But, okay, the book opens with Tim and Hutch, right?
Yes, uh-huh.
Hutch being one of our main characters. They're like break your fingers, mob, make it happen kind of guys, yeah?
They're the muscle.
Yeah, they're the muscle.
They're Peach's muscle.
And like the first, I don't know, 10% of the book or whatever is really just going into the whole mob thing of like they're bone breakers working for this mob guy. And it's very mob feeling. And you know what's cool? Rosson had written this for a story that he planned to just be a crime story without supernatural elements.
Oh.
And then that, fizzled out. And so when he started working on this, he was like, oh, that works for this. And which is cool because it does give it a very like crime book start to it.
Yeah, it does shift for sure.
Like most of my favorite authors that we've talked about on this podcast, I'm definitely seeing a trend here, but I don't know. I like it and I adhere to it. But Rosson loves fancy literature, all that, the literature is out there. And he has like tried to write within literature, but Also, he loves Stephen King and comic books, so he's like, I cannot write a story without supernatural or horror elements making their way in, just because once you're exposed to those kinds of books, it's hard not to use the palette of magical, horrific things, right? So he's it sounds like it's somewhat similar to Nathan Ballad, who we talked about North American Lake Monsters, where he's very much in the literary world, enjoying that like rich language, but also wanting to write like a pulpy, string you along, exciting adventure.
That's awesome.
To set the scene, that's we got Hutch and Tim breaking bones and stuff.
Oh, and here's a quote for that. Wesley's head is caved into a red mash with glints of bone peeking out, becoming a head by suggestion alone.
Oh, I like how you just threw that in there without context. Here's a cool, violent quote.
Yeah, well, it gives, there you go.
So we'd be here a while if we introduced every character, because this book is a multiple point of view character book, which is cool and works really well for it. But you're in the heads of, I don't know, in total, probably like 7 characters, but really, 3 or 4? Who are the main ones? Hutch, our bone breaker. We got Nick Coffin, who's just a son of musicians. And then Catherine, his mom.
There's also some later characters who come in. Are you just talking about right off in the beginning?
My point, what I'm saying is that,
because I think Bonner is Wiles are pretty.
Yeah, who are the main characters? Let's boil it down to like the essential.
Okay, well, there's Hutch, obviously. For a while, Peach. Nick is definitely Catherine, his mom, Bonner and Wiles. And then we have some like floaters, Rauchman and Lundy, Diane for like a minute.
We also got a homeless guy for like 2 chapters.
Yeah, people come and go, but those are the main. If I was going to boil it down, I'd say probably in this order. Nick and Catherine almost equally, and Catherine is Nick's mom. And then Bonner and Hutch, I would say about equal in like different parts of the book. And then Wiles, Lundy, and Rauchman and Peach are like the backup characters.
The point being, it's a pretty good cast.
And you see it from, would say almost all of their point of views at some point.
And the general setup is essentially like you have this mob start, which is cool. And Hutch, our main bouncer guy, is messed up. He's like super tall, but he had his head bashed into like a 4-door sedan.
No, that happens later.
This happened before the book starts.
Okay, but this is one of the cool things about how Rosson wrote this book, which is what I really loved about it, is that he gives you enough information to get by, but then like later adds more and like actually tells the story. So much later in the book, Tim is talking. It's when Nick first met Tim to help his mom when she got glass in her foot. And Tim was telling the story about his friend who just got his head beat in with a car door, and he was really upset. And that was Hutch. But in explaining who Hutch was, he said prior to that, when he was talking to Catherine about she stepped on a wine glass and like couldn't go to the hospital. So he comes to stitch her up, and he's like, oh yeah, my friend was at a party and he walked into a chandelier and it fucked up his head. And he like turned around and looked at me, and he had like a light bulb coming out of his head.
He also got his head beat in with a door. Yes. So you would assume that's what it did it. But what's so cool about that story is that Tim explains that it had actually most of his facial appearance had actually happened prior to that, because at the time that he's telling the story is when he had his face bashed in. So by telling Catherine, oh, you'll be all right with your foot, this happened to my friend and he was all right, that adds to the story. And that's really cool, because I caught on to that one. I'm sure there were more that I didn't catch on to, but he gives you some information. You start to think it's the correct information. And then next thing you know, oh, that's just the tip of the iceberg. So like there's that writing, not prompt, but the suggestion, right? The author needs to know the whole iceberg, but the reader only needs to see the tip of the iceberg. But you have to have laid out and figured out the whole iceberg
Otherwise, it just will get chaos. It won't make sense. And what he does, I feel, is he has the tip of the iceberg, but very slowly, like, it bobs in different ways, and you see like bits of the underside of this iceberg.
Yeah, it's really cool because it's not just linear, multiple character points of view.
Yeah.
It also shifts with time. Like you might have a character who dies, and then the next 20 pages are their point of view in a previous point of time. So it's shifting time and point of view in a way that's really interesting. And there'll be times where it's like directly connected, like someone points a gun at someone, and then the next chapter is the person who had the gun pointed at them, their point of view leading up to that
leading
point.
up to it,
but
yes.
not just
and
that.
And then past it, right?
Yeah, and then past. And what's cool is at first I was like, this could get a little tiring if it's like character's point of view and then other character's point of view in the same scene, right? Like if you keep showing the same scene from different point of views over and over, I thought, ooh, over 400 pages, that's going to get a little irksome. But it didn't. But he plays around with the time of it enough that it just has a really cool disjointed flow that it doesn't have, doesn't feel repetitious by replaying scenes over and over. It's used really well.
So I want to know who your favorite character was in this book.
Okay. It's Nick or Hutch. I like Nick Coffin because that's a cool name. And he's the son of some musicians, so that's fun. And he just gets caught up with Peach and Tim and Hutch in their kind of mob. I don't know if you can call a 3-person get up a mob.
I think there's more.
There probably are more.
We only see seeing the surface of it, but I think that's like his main core.
I think they like, to them, Peach is the Don and the mob boss, but I feel like it's overall he's like kind of small fish.
Well, it's Portland. It's not like he's in New York or
exactly,
LA.
right.
Yeah.
So Nick gets caught up in this mob thing kind of by accident. He's just serving at a restaurant, making some money, and Peach is with Tim, who drops his gun in the restaurant
because he's really upset because Hutch just got his head bashed in the car.
Yeah.
So see, it's like it's so cool how he connects everything.
Yeah. So and then Nick like is real smooth about picking up the gun and then going out to them and being like, hey guys, you dropped something, and not like pulling the gun.
Yeah.
He was just like, hey, just, I have a gun, but it's in my waistband. I don't want you to think I'm pulling a gun on you. And so Peach was like, that was smooth, kid. You should work for me.
You got a good head on your shoulders, kid.
Yeah. So Nick's not working at the restaurant for much longer. And while all this is happening, he's like trying to make money and sort of live on his own, but he's stuck with his mom. I don't know if he thinks of it as stuck, but
he feels responsible for his mom.
He feels responsible for his mom, who is half of a popular music group, the Blank Letters, started by his mom and his dad. And and like a couple others. I shouldn't leave out there's Doogie and Arthur. So it was a full band, but the front people of this band were Nick's mom and dad.
Because she's a singer and songwriter, and her husband, Matthew, was the lead guitarist and also songwriter.
Yeah, I think they
started the band and then found Arthur and Doogie.
Yeah, so, and then Nick's dad is dead. He jumped from the Hawthorne Bridge. Is that right?
I think so.
From the Hawthorne Bridge.
Hawthorne, yeah. Is that or Broadway? I think it's Hawthorne.
And his mom is let's see if I get this word right the first time, an agoraphobic.
Yes.
Yes. She cannot leave within a certain radius of her apartment, just starts freaking out. And so Nick is just the son of these really popular indie musicians who have had this catastrophic end, and he's just trying to take care of mom while also make some money and take care of bills, and he's just kind of holding it together when he gets swept up into this whole thing.
Well, he's got it made, right? His mom told him, "You're good. You don't need money." But there's that sense of independence, right? And like taking on your own life, which I think is like what he was trying to do and what he found with Peach. But then also he moves back home to help his mom, and Peach appreciated. So Nick did Peach the favor of picking up the gun and giving it back. And then Peach gave Nick the favor of helping his mom when she stepped on the glass. And Tim came over and patched up her foot. And that's how we learned about Hutch's face. And that kind of dynamic thing is weaved throughout the book with so many different characters in so many different ways. I can't imagine how complicated it was plotting out this book.
I feel like there was probably flashcards on the floor with this one. It was probably like all the scenes and then shuffle. I mean, really, right?
That clip of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where the guy's like, got his crazy poster. Like, it makes sense.
I mean, that's how I got that one from. I mean, I feel like a lot of authors probably use this tactic, but Jeff Vandermeer was talking about this, how he'll write out the main beats of a story he's brainstorming on flashcards, and then he'll be like, what if I switch some of these around? And that's a good way to keep it consistent, because you've already seen it the way it's supposed to be, and then just playing with time, right?
I think Grady Hendrix does something similar, but I think he has a big cork board above his desk and has like, he showed an image of when he was doing that for Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, and it was literally a calendar of events, like when it happened in the story. But then he had all these bits and bobs. He made like a collage of it, right? Like a mood calendar or something. So I think it's the same. Yeah. Everyone has their different thing, but different, but the same. Yeah.
So Nick's cool just because, I'm partial because he's comes from a musical family and I like music, and it didn't sound like they were punk rockers, but they were in the punk rock scene for sure. It sounded like they were more of like
they were
maybe
totally punk rock.
I got like
they were
rock
couch
and
surfing,
indie.
eating vegan chili.
Yeah,
that's pretty punk,
true.
Dude.
But I think at the punk house it'd be like, oh, they're the indie rockers who hang out with us punks.
I got it totally. It's interesting. Okay, maybe
I got
because,
like loud indie, almost like
but they like listen to Misfits and the Clash.
Who's the dude, Jack White. I kind of got like
I totally didn't get that at all.
Okay,
I got more like Green Day, where they were small and hanging around, and then they just happened to get big.
Oh, okay.
And they made the radio hit.
Interesting.
That I totally got punk vibes.
Okay.
That's funny. So I wonder if it's because I am not the punk.
Maybe.
That I got that.
It's because I'm the punk, and so I'm super judgmental about it.
You just know.
You don't fit in the box,
they listen
dude.
to the Misfits and the Clash. Ugh. They must be posers.
I mean, the Misfits are great.
I'm kidding. Sort of.
Okay. And then to finish because we've already talked about Hutch a little bit. Hutch is also a favorite character of mine. He's super cool. He's just goes through a whole hell of a lot in this book, and through like half of his scenes he's been shot in the gut and is just like driving around Portland trying to get stuff done while his guts are spilling out, and it's just cool.
Yeah, he's just like, I don't know what's the term, like he just goes, like he's an unstoppable force.
What about you? Who are your favorite characters?
My favorite character is Catherine. She was definitely my favorite. So that's Nick's mom.
Because she's a mom? I mean, obviously there's more to it than that.
She's a punk icon singer who married the lead of her band and had a kid and took her kid on tour, and was just like a very, in my opinion, a cool mom. Unfortunately, she ended up as an agoraphobic and stuck at home, but she still was doing her thing. She was still writing music for soundtracks. And then when shit hits the fan, she goes hard. She's like, all right, this is where we are. At first, when so she gets kidnapped basically, and at first she's like freaking out, like, oh my God, I'm out of my safety space, and she's like, breathing is going to be my safe space. And it's interesting too, because there's a bit of parallel with Wiles about that, I think, where she was like, oh, I never had a home, and my home would be like the sound of rain or the smell of wet asphalt. I'm coming up with all this rain stuff because I keep thinking of Portland, but they found the thing that latched them to the world. But then after a little while, Catherine's just like, no, fuck this. Like, I'm getting out of here. And it seems like she breaks out of that fear because like she has to become the badass that she used to be. And then you get a lot of stories through Nick and through her reminiscing in her past of like how cool she was. So I just thought she was really
it sounded
cool.
like she was cool, and Nick's dad, Matthew Coffin, was just an asshole.
Yeah, he was smug, and it sounds like everyone's like, oh yeah, he had his moments, and it's like, oh yeah, that makes up for all this shit. Sure, whatever.
Yeah, he was. They do have a good line about this where music not only allows but condones asshole men who are just like, I'm the lead shredding guitar player, so I'm a dickhead. And I mean that's not even exclusive to being a musician. That's just anyone who's really good at what they are.
Well, Lundy is like that too. Yeah,
just someone who's like has so much power at their fingertips, but sucks as a person, I guess.
Yeah. So Catherine's reviewing the past, and she was thinking about how he came to his end and what led up to it. And as we've mentioned, you get tidbits throughout. So I'm not going to say like what she was thinking about, but she has a couple of really good lines about his personality. And you're like, you loved this guy? So Matthew, with this ridiculous self-centered notion that he was making things right somehow, after confessing that she and Nick were anchors around his throat, only he could be that arrogant. And then something had seen Matthew's profound weakness, that arrogance, that belief that fixing something later is better than fixing it now, and capitalized on it. So he's just like a jerk.
Yeah,
a million chances in life, and this is the road he chooses.
Yeah, so the dad's a tortured artist, and there are some scenes where Nick is thinking about how his dad did have moments of holding his hand, and there's like soft filtered Vaseline on the camera kind of moments of like, oh, dad, between his dad being an asshole.
Well, and also the fandom of their band is always looking for stuff from Nick and trying to figure out, because he's the one who died. It's like Kurt Cobain syndrome, right? Like everyone's like, oh, I want to know more about who he was because he died. But Nick also has this box of documents of his dad's that he's like, oh, I'll get around to going through, and he never does. So even Nick's kind of like, I don't know. I need some space from him,
Okay, let's get into the demonic shit. All right.
Yeah, let's do it. Demons.
We got some characters. We still haven't gone. We barely touched on John Bonner or Wiles, who are also cool. They're like buddy cops, and they're not buddies. That's for
Black
sure.
Black ops.
But they're super cool. I like Wiles a lot. I'll just really quick about her. She's one of those characters where she's presented as just like does not like her partner and is not into it and just seems like a hard ass and remains a hard ass. But then later in the book, you get some point of view chapters from her, which I didn't expect to get. And it's just one of those cool things where it's like, oh, I get to see the background of this character I thought was a secondary character. And
I want to call it the iceberg effect.
The iceberg Bob.
Boppity boppity bob.
But yeah, let's talk. So we have these characters.
Bob. Hey, coming back to the Clash.
that was like Clash Ramones. I'm not sure what that was like. AI create a shit. Anyway,
pretended
create a Google
American from California is British singing punk song that they.
All right, but so what's the demon shit? How does this start?
Fucking Wiles. She shoots him in the head. There's a quote for you.
Okay, apparently you need to say, because like I know these events, but you apparently like in your brain sorted out the timeline. I was just like, this is crazy. That's crazy. So why don't you tell us how the hand comes into play?
Okay, so the hand is in a freezer, and Hutch and Tim in the beginning are going to, what's the word? You're not hustling, but you're,
I don't know, bone breaking?
Yeah, they go to rough up this guy to get like $1,200. And Hutch is like, I just have a bad feeling about this one. So does Tim. They're both like, we just have a bad feeling. They usually bet on how long it'll take. And they're like, nah, man, let's just get this done. So they go. This guy is like crazy. He is not scared at all. He pulls out his own tooth. Like, this guy is off the wall. Eventually, they freak him out enough. And he's like, yeah, it's in the freezer. It's in the freezer. So they go in the freezer. And it's not money he's hiding. It's a severed hand. And they're like, what the fuck? We have to take this and this guy. So they take the guy and the hand to a warehouse where they're going to rough him up with Don, who's a ex-cop, beat him up, cut fingers off, whatever they need to do to get this $1,200. Not very much money, but it's not the point, right? The point is, don't fuck with us. So they end up with his hand, and Hutch is like, I just feel like grumpy and mean, and I want to like hurt people, you know? So when he gets away from the hand, he's like, oh, wow, that thing is horrible. We need to get rid of it. But Peach is like, bring it to me, bring it to me. And through a series of events, he tries to bring it to Peach. He gets shot by Bonner and Viles, who are looking for the hand in their Black Ops government agency. He calls Nick. Nick brings the hand to Peach. Peach gets shot. Nick runs away with the hand. Now the hand's in the loose. And now we know Bonner and Wiles, and the rest of the story is, for the most part, find the hand, get backstory about the hand and the characters.
The hand is the Magolin, not Magolin. That's not the right word. What's the word? The thing that moves the plot along, and it's also in a card game, like a get out of jail free move. A Magolin, a Magellan.
I don't know
Magellan?
this word. Magellan?
It's like a film term.
I don't know this term. A Moogle?
MacGuffin. It's the MacGuffin is a term for an object or element in a story that drives the plot but serves no further purpose. I mean, like, it does have a purpose.
It has
but
a total purpose.
Well, it's like, okay, so
I like how the
get the
examples,
chalice in...
It's not chalice. It's
whatever.
the cup of God.
Get the cup of God.
That's
Get
Indiana
the
Jones Last Crusade.
bird-ass thing. And what's that from?
The Falcon. The Falcon.
No.
Yeah,
It's some black and white shit. No, it's like
I know that.
Maltese Falcon.
The what?
In the Maltese Falcon.
The Falcon? Yeah.
Yeah, so the hand is, does have that quality of like being the thing that moves the plot, which isn't an insult or anything. I'm just saying it's a thing, and I called it that. And also, when I first started reading this book, I had recently watched Talk to Me, which is an awesome movie and also has a severed hand. So I was pretending for a little bit that it was the same world, but then it doesn't work, but still, it's cool. I like the connection.
But we start to get ideas that there's more to it than it just being, it makes people feel uncomfortable, and it's not just because it's a severed hand. Like it seems to have magical powers.
Oh, it's got like a debuff or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, debuff is a great word for it.
Yeah, anyone around it just starts getting like red with rage and violence and just wants to like tear people's faces apart. And like Nick is talking to his mom while he has the hand in the bag, and he's like, what would it be like if I cut your throat or something? And he's like, oh my God, what am I thinking?
Yeah, so, that's my mom.
Yeah, so it has anyone around this hand just gets those violent thoughts and makes them feel disgusted, but it also makes them feel powerful kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's a mix, right? Like not pleasurable, but they get that like endorphin boost. Yeah, so it's definitely evil, and as we find out further through the book, it is evil. It definitely has a debuff around it, but it has like the ultimate debuff.
The kill everyone or yourself or whoever, tear apart any nearby flesh vibe that it gives people.
Yeah, the like, oh, if you die near it, you become a zombie.
Okay, I'll just say real quick, you're like, oh, zombies. Or maybe you're like, oh, cool, zombies. I don't know what your reaction is, but, there have been zombies around a lot in pop culture. And what's cool about this book is it doesn't get super zombie-ish until, like, really the end. It's not like, oh, hand inciting incident zombie book.
And it's not like Walking Dead zombies, which I think Walking Dead killed zombies for a very long time. I love zombies. And even I got sick of zombies with Walking Dead. It was just over the top. So it's a different type. It's kind of like when 28 Days Later came out. It was like a new type of zombie. So it's not what you're probably thinking of as a zombie, but it's very cool.
Like a cult zombies, basically.
Yeah. And I have a joke for you.
Oh, okay. Wait.
You know this joke.
You've said it before on the podcast. Let's hear it again.
What? I've said this 1 billion times.
But you've definitely said it when we did Tender as the Flesh.
Oh, did I already? Oh.
What's the joke? Maybe
what do vegan zombies eat?
I can't begin to guess.
Grains.
Yeah, you told that on Tender as the Flesh. Listen to Tender as the Flesh.
I love that joke.
But they don't eat brains. They just eat whatever skin is there.
Bite people.
Bite you.
Rip
and
them
what's
up.
cool is one of the characters is bitten, and we get to get their point of view as they make the change, which is probably like happens in a lot of zombie books, but it's still cool.
Yeah, it happens to a couple of people, but we don't really see what happened. Like there's a homeless dude, and I think he was bitten when he enters the story. And he's
Yeah.
like, oh, my legs hurts and it feels all burny and stuff.
Feels all Bernie.
But yeah.
Bernie Sanders on my leg.
Hey, we are the city of Bernie Sanders. Remember, we were at that rally.
Yep. Yeah.
When the bird landed on the podium.
Oh, what hope we had. How foolish we were.
How foolish. How foolish.
Speaking of that, okay, so...
Wait, what? How foolish we are? Portland?
Well, just
or what?
craziness.
Oh, okay.
Because this was right after that. Okay, so we have these characters we've talked about, and then this hand comes in that like drives people violently crazy, and if someone dies around it, they come back as an occult zombie. So Portland just starts like falling apart, and there's looting, and buildings are on fire, and it's definitely reminiscent of 2020 protests.
Yeah.
This book was published in 2023, and this dude is from Portland, so this part of the book I thought was really cool. I didn't feel like it was political, but it was definitely writing about an intense situation that did happen and using it in a interesting way that, I don't know, just brought me back to 2020 in Portland.
Well, the amazing thing about it is that he even talks about how like Bonner, one of the characters, was in New York undercover during protests, and then he comes to Portland and they had also had protests. And I don't think it's explicit, is it? I don't think it's explicit, but it's reflecting Black Lives Matter. But what I thought was really, really cool that he did with this book and dealing with the protests and like what's going on with this occultist stuff is he wasn't saying like, oh, it's the same thing. But to me, it really reflected how Black Lives Matter was happening during COVID, and like the fact that in Portland, not only was everything shut down because of COVID, but then there was a lot of really good protesting. But then at night, assholes who just want to create chaos came out and started breaking shit. And they didn't give a fuck about Black Lives Matter. They gave a shit about destroying the city. And I think that he finds that balance with this because the like zombified people are creating a ghost town. And for a while there, Portland really was a ghost town, mainly because of COVID. And then the protests, just the not actual protests, but the
clashes
really heightened that ghost town feel. And because of the very slow recovery after COVID, partly because our president was a piece of shit who didn't give a fuck about the people and didn't like put money back into our communities, we had a very, like, Portland downtown was a ghost town for quite some time.
And now it's a war zone.
Yeah. We don't have glass, you guys. They are not glass windows in this city. It's crazy. I've never been in a place like that. Shithead said that. There's no glass. Anyway.
But what's cool is my point about that was the protests in this book are very reminiscent of that. Definitely he had like first person account witness of this stuff because we were living here at that time, right? Whether or not he was protesting or reading about it, I don't know. But it's very reminiscent of that time. And one of the cool things about the concept of the hand and essentially why things start spiraling out of control is because people are dying around the hand and then becoming zombies, and then the zombies bite people, etc. But there's a quote with one of the people in the State Department or whatever where they're like, Portland's getting out of hand and we need to shut it down now. And it's just that thought of like, it has two elements has that COVID element of something is spreading in a place,
yes,
and we need to stop it, and also the element of like there are people protesting and activists in Portland, and we need to stop that leftist ideology. So it's like just
right-wing government. It's like fuck
something.
you. Yeah.
So that was cool, and it's handled well. I didn't feel like there was any soapboxing or anything. It was just, but it was definitely inspired by a direct moment of time that we experienced, and that's cool.
I think he captured it well.
So that's fun, seeing all this like occult zombie stuff spill out in a place we're familiar with during a crazy time of history for the city and the country.
That we're also familiar with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. What a weird couple of years we've had, huh? Shit.
And we have.
God
This
damn.
this is one of those books where I'm like, oh, it's a cool way to encapsulate a lot of the anxieties we've been going through, things that are actually happening, and then making a kick-ass story within that, without becoming I don't know, a moral tale or whatever. Just making something cool within that environment.
Well, and towards the end too, when like shit really hits the fan, and the police are like in their little bunker. You know, shooting from the rooftops basically, and he's talking about how they have these little slits that they were using against the protesters, and I'm like, wow, now it's foreshadowing the shit that's going on now with ICE, because you were even asking like, oh, I wonder if the second book tackles that, and it's like, no, that was too recent. But just the way that police are pushy and instigate violence.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
It's also, I think, subtly commented on.
Yeah.
I think there's a little ACAB in here.
Oh, yeah.
Just a touch.
The murder slits in the Justice Center or whatever.
The cops are like,
definitely.
Yeah, shoot him in the head.
Headshot. I couldn't help while reading this book compare it to We Sold Our Souls, which was in our first season. Go check it out, by Grady Hendrix. Definitely some comparisons between Catherine, the mom in this book, and Chris, who was the lead singer of Dirtwerk. Wait, not the lead singer, the guitarist. And I just want to comment on that because it's cool to connect the different books that we've talked about in our podcast. And on one hand, we have Chris and We Sold Our Souls, who's
a metal band.
Like both of them start the book where their bands are no longer. So we already have two female characters who are the heads or co-heads of their band, and it's in the past.
Getting fucked over by men.
Oh,
what a great connection. What a surprise.
Yeah, I guess in We Sold Our Souls, the man leaves the band and becomes a demonic new
rock
metal
star
guy.
New metal. I mean, come on.
Where, and then in this one, it's just her husband was an egomaniac and then took his life, right? So yes,
which
women
may have, spoiler alert, may have some bad consequences.
May have deeper
may
consequences.
Be deeper, there may be deeper things going on there.
But I just thought that was cool because both of these characters were similar in getting. I pictured like female alternative rock girls, and they're like getting fucked over, but then when things get really bad, they're just like, I'll kill you. And
fuck around and find out.
Definitely, it felt like a two manifestations of a character type, and it was cool to see it because they both also felt distinctive enough that I wasn't like, oh, I'm just reading another indie rock chick character, right? Like they had their own things going on, but that was a cool connection.
Yeah, and maybe that's why I like Catherine so much, because she's a badass, even though she's a punk, not a metalhead. But there's a lot of similarities in the two of them, for sure. And I liked that both had demonic elements, and yeah, that's a good catch, because I wasn't thinking of We Sold Our Souls with this book. The book that came to mind for me was The Hobbit-ish.
Please explain.
Gollum.
But did anyone?
Precious.
But here's the thing: the people didn't want the hand. The hand made people feel gross, and they wanted to get rid of it.
But they were fighting over it. There's
true.
the scene with Simon, the homeless guy. He has it on him. Someone knocks it off of him, and they're all just like, it's not like they're going after the hand, but he loses it and he like panics. He's like, where's my hand? Where's my hand? And like everyone's like scrambling. It just reminds me of that scene of Gollum.
Yeah, totally.
Getting his birthday present.
It's like an item that people really want, but makes them feel disgusting.
Yeah,
when
and it
they're
controls
around it,
them,
but they still
and
want it.
it's controlled by a demon. Hello, that's basically the same as Lord of the Rings. It's the exact same book.
I feel like we've given our opinion through the way we've been talking about it, but let's make it official. What did you think of this book, especially since we're following up our next episode with a sequel?
I loved it. I really, really did. I loved the way that he wrote, and I loved the iceberg effect. I hope that's not actually a thing, and that's like really weird and doesn't fit the context. But,
well, any writer knows the iceberg.
Yeah, least. But I know, but like calling it the iceberg effect.
I like the iceberg bob.
The iceberg bob. Yes, I actually do too. Let's call it that. I really liked the iceberg bob that happens. I have to say it like a Brit because the Blitzkrieg Bob, the iceberg Bob, the AI generated Bob. I just, sometimes that can bother me if it's not done well. It's like, why is this happening? You know, and withholding information is a very difficult road to navigate well, and he did a really, really good job of it. I never felt like, what the fuck, this doesn't make sense because I'm missing information. It always felt like, oh, whoa, that's cool, that adds so much, that changes how I feel about that, etc., etc. So that was great. I really enjoyed that. I don't remember the last time I read a book that did it that well. And then I loved all the characters. I thought he did a really good job. They all had their unique personalities and such. Yeah, the overall story of the hand and stuff and how it makes people crazy and stuff is good. I like that it's zombies, not zombies. Overall, I very much liked it. My only thing was, there was one thing that was a little triggering to me that kept coming up, but that was a me problem. It's nothing super out of line. There's a lot of suicide in it and a little explicit at times.
Several characters, at least 3 characters die by suicide.
Yeah, so it can be a bit much.
Which works thematically because
it does.
The hand drives you crazy.
So is it, then it's like, oh, well, they're being driven to do it. And so it's fine, but it's also like sensitive topic. So other than that, that was pretty much my only real complaint. And the fact that I'm not done with the book and I need to read the second book in order to be done.
Yeah, I'm really curious what happens.
What about you? What did you think?
I also really liked it. Like I said, the first vibe I got was Talk to Me, which was a really cool horror movie, So I was like, ooh, this is fun. I'll buckle up for this. But then it really takes its own turn. It's cool that Rosson is a local and that the book explicitly takes place in Portland, because I feel like I've read some vaguely within the Pacific Northwest, which I might actually be thinking of the Southern Reach trilogy, because that's vaguely Washington, Oregon.
Oh, yeah.
And some other things like that. It's a cool setting. So it's in one of those regions that works really well, where you don't give too many details and just describe it. But anyway, I liked that it was in Portland. I like that it was clearly influenced by real events, the Portland protests that happened in 2020. I like that it's zombies, but not zombies. Everything is just really cool about it. Also, I like finding out that Rosson, at least at some point, listened to punk rock. So that's cool. Good on you. I hope you're still enjoying it. If not, I hope you enjoy what you enjoy.
I mean, he did do art for Green Day. So is he really punk?
Yeah, who knows? You sellout.
Speaking of punk, though, at one point, Catherine hears one of her songs playing and it says the lyrics. And I actually was reading it with your voice because
the lyrics. Oh, really?
Yeah, because of what you and John were just doing.
That's cool. I'll talk about that for my what I've been reading part.
Sure.
I mean, I just liked it. It was cool. I liked the prose. It was very pulpy, but very carefully handled pulpy, if that makes sense, because it had the multiple POVs. It had shifting time around. And while it's a very stylistic, cool, snap your fingers prose, like, it worked well for me, is what I'm trying to say. It was good.
Great. So should we wrap it up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. I haven't been reading anything except for podcast books. Do you have any books to talk about?
No.
Okay, I will say then, here's all I've got for you, because this was partly inspired by this book for sure, but our friend John comes out every year for the last 2 weeks of the year to hang out with us.
Mm-hmm.
And we recorded an awesome punk rock song together, which was a lot of fun. Uploaded it on Bandcamp, made a profile, the East Bay Ghosts. It is lo-fi and recorded in 8 hours on GarageBand.
No, it's not lo-fi. Lo-fi is a genre now, dude.
Well, okay. I'm not talking a genre. I'm talking a description. Like, we recorded it on...
Yeah, you need to clarify that,
okay,
because people are going to go listen to it and think it's lo-fi.
Oh, my God.
Punk.
God damn. It is not that lo-fi genre.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was saying.
That genre would have the recording from Fever House and drive me insane. Anyway, go check it out. Concrete Vow, East Bay Ghost Bandcamp.
Also, John is the one who recommended this book to us, so it's fitting.
Oh, that's true. He did, and I'm glad he did, because it was a lot of fun. And I'm really excited to see where it goes, and you'll find out what we think of that
In
when we talk
2 weeks?
about what is it?
The Devil by Name in 2 weeks' time.
In 2 weeks' time, we will be talking about The Devil by Name by Keith Rosson. And then we will move into February.
Woohoo! My birthday month.
Birthday month, in which we will talk about A Natural History of Hell by Jeffrey Ford. Short stories. So I picked it. I really like this one. I think Amber's going to like it a lot too. I hope. And then after that, The Ballad of Black Tom by Victor LaValle. I'm really excited for this one. It's pretty short. I haven't read anything by him, but I've only heard good things about it. And I don't know if it's a response or whatever, but it plays a lot with an H.P. Lovecraft story. It's like The Red Hook or something like that.
We'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. But yeah, we got Devil by Name, Natural History of Hell, The Ballad of Black Tom. So get reading, punks.
Yeah, and you picked those two, and they're both short, and we should have read those in January and had the month of Rosson in February when we're sane humans.
But
we
here
live
we are.
And we learn. Yeah, I'm looking forward to them too, because I haven't read them. You have.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
And now
February will be fun.
Now that we're getting back in the swing of things, we'll be able to talk about other cool stuff we're reading. But
yeah, I'll have a laundry list of books for you, hopefully next time.
Oh, not much. Just 10 books this week.
Whatever. We got some good stuff for Christmas, so we'll have to. I'll let you know as I read through them. My Christmas pickups or hoard, whatever gatherings.
Christmas pickups. You better not have. Oh, I was thinking Christmas hookups. I was like, whoa.
Like what I gathered.
Yes.
I don't know.
She's making like a rat gathering with her hands gesture.
My book hoarding. I'm hoarding the books close to me. I don't know.
All right, everybody. Happy New Year. We'll see you next time. There you go.
Bye. Well, if you've made it this far, then we didn't scare you off. Thanks for listening to Dusk to Dawn, reading horror and weird fiction.
Please rate our podcast, and if you like, follow us on Instagram at Dusk to Dawn Podcast, which is also our Gmail address. Tell us what you liked or didn't like about the show, and let us know if you have any book suggestions. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.